So once again, thank you for signing up for my Brave Leap Masterclass and actually attending this 1 hour session where I'm going to show you, some steps that you can take, things to consider, if you're currently in the corporate, to take that brave leap and then start your own business. For me, I did this in 2020, and I'll show you what happened to me because I literally had no backup plan. And that's why it was so scary for me. So I really want you to help you to show you different options that you can do, how to go from corporate safely into your own entrepreneurship. Okay, so let's get started. So I would like to tell you a little bit about myself. Excuse me. So you can see where I'm coming from. So in the last 23 years that, my working career, I have had many, many different roles. I'm one of those people that can reinvent themselves, and I get easily bored. So that is why I had such a colorful career this far in my life. So I started with my degree in psychology, and then I went into marketing. I think that was really a great part of my life where I learned how to, use psychology to sell products, but also to market to people so they know, to market to people so that they can buy it. I truly, truly loved this phase of my life. From there, I had another business. In between, I was from corporate. I went into my own businesses, and then I always went back to corporate. So, like I said, I have such a rainbow, colorful working experience but it's a combination of working for myself and corporate. So I also trained myself I actually had a sandwich baron. So that was for the guys overseas, that is almost like Subway. So I bought a sandwich baron, and while I was there, I actually trained myself, excuse me, to become a graphic designer. And yeah, I did some graphic designing for a big international company. So something I'm still very proud of. And still today, I don't do it a lot anymore because of my time constraint, but I still love to design and still do ads and stuff like that for this one corporate company because it's so close to my heart. And then I went into sales. So I've got almost now 12 years experience in sales. It was manufacturing sales, it was selling online stuff, sales. So I've got a very wide variety of sales knowledge as well in my life. And like I said, entrepreneurship, different businesses have I owned. One was, like I said, my first little business was a coffee shop. But that I did while I was still full-time employed. So that was working 7 days a week, and I do not recommend that. So yeah, that led me to a quick burnout. Like I said, I had the sandwich baron, where I actually had 11 staff working for me. But yeah, I sold that because, age of 27, I knew there was much more to life than just selling sandwiches and, asking, can I take your order? So I sold that. And that's when I went into graphic designing, another corporate business. And I literally loved that because, yes, we did the most amazing events. And then from there, uh, at the age of 31, I literally lost everything. But that's a whole other story. And from there, I went into sales. That was my last corporate business, was in sales for a huge international company here in South Africa. And then, like I said, my last business, in between, I actually was a co-owner of a boutique clothing store. So that was another business I had. And then now for the last 5 years, I am a life coach. So I've been doing this now for 5 years. And that's why I actually designed this course for you, is because when I started, I didn't have somebody holding my hand and saying, okay, this is this next step. This is what you should do. This is what you should focus on. So I went to study. Already in 2019, I got my certification for my life coaching because I knew this is going to be my future. But I was still so scared to take the brave leap and just quit and start it. But in 2020, after COVID, so it was literally June, it's literally 5 years ago, they almost like forced us to resign because of the salary, the pays, and everything. And I knew that if I'm going to stay, I'm going to lose everything again. And I said, never again. And I resigned, not knowing exactly what it is, how I'm going to start, because I've got the certification of a life coach, but I can't call myself a life coach because I haven't done it and I haven't have paying clients. So it was really scary for me to take that brave leap and to start my own business. But yeah, that's why I said I didn't have a business coach. They gave us the curriculum and say this is what you need to teach your clients in life coaching. But it didn't give me the how to, the start, how do you market? And, the marketing little course that we got there on the side was so outdated because you understand social media, every 6 months it changes. Every 6 months you have to be innovative and change things. So that is why I designed the Brave Leap because for me, I started a new business about 10 months ago. And also, the course that I took was amazing, but it lacked once again in the business side that I felt, give me a little bit more structure, show me how to do this. If you talk about sales funnels and you've never heard about a bloody sales funnel, what is that thing? What is the AI programs you're currently using to record, to get your scripts, to um, launch a podcast? What are these things that you use? Because I talk about it in this, the weekly meetings, but there was nobody saying, okay, this is the first step. This is how you optimize your YouTube channel. This is how you do these things. This is how you do your pricing. So those are the things that I said, I would like to give a comprehensive course to somebody who wants to take the brave leap into entrepreneurship, because that's the part that I missed. The mindset part that I studied was freaking amazing, and this is who I am today, showing up with so much more confidence than ever, coming onto the camera. It's okay to be seen. I broke a lot of limiting beliefs. So that was the part that really fueled me to start this new business. But then I had to get another business coach and another coach, and I spent so much money in trying to figure out how to start. So this is what I'm doing. I'm giving you the roadmap, and all the material that I bought, you are going to get it for free into my vault. That I put everything there to show you how to start your business, no matter what it is, not just online coaching or whatever, anything. How to be present on social media, how to set up your pages, how to optimize, how to use these freaking sales funnels that everybody's talking about. So all of those things in marketing, but also your daily operations. If you're going to go from corporate business going into entrepreneurship, you're going to have to change your mindset and you're going to have to show up for yourself every day because nobody's watching. So this mindset you need to say, I'm disciplined, I'm motivated. Although I can sleep till 9, 10 o'clock, I'm not going to sleep till then because I've got a business to run. So these things that I really want to teach you in my big brave leap. But for today, let's get going so I can give you some guidance of how you can start with your own business. Okay, so in the next hour, 90 minutes, we are going to look at the 5 crucial mindsets that you need to go from employee to entrepreneur. We're going to look at the 3 biggest mistakes women make when they leave corporate and how to avoid them. And then I'm going to show you my 4-step proven framework to creating a business that aligns with your values and vision. Not just a copy and paste, everybody can do it and follow my method and whatever. And, these online businesses sell something, Etsy store, get another template, post templates. No, I want you to start a business that's going to be sustainable. And a business that's sustainable is something you do, something that you love. It's something that resonates with you, that aligns with your value. Then it doesn't even feel like a job. It doesn't even feel like a career. Like I said, this is what I'm currently doing. Coaching for me, I can't actually feel like I'm working, although I'm always busy during the day, whatever it is. But when I sit here and I do coaching, or when I do have my one-on-one clients, I still have one-on-one retainers. I love that. It doesn't feel like working. It feels like I'm having long coffee lunches speaking to clients. So this is what I want for you, to start a business that you truly love and that's really inspiring, because that's a sustainable business. And then the last thing is I'm going to show you how to design your offer that leverage your expertise and attract the ideal client. Okay, so let's get going. So what this course isn't, like I said, this is not a quick rich type of course. Okay, I'm not one of those coaches, sorry, that goes online and say, here is the blueprint to do this, copy and paste this, sell things online, become an affiliate, whatever. Yes, those businesses can work, but you need to understand exactly the workings behind it. You can't just copy and paste, because You know, if let's say you want to sell something online, you still have to do the marketing. You still need sales funnels. You need to bring people in. So they don't teach you those type of things. They just say, yes, what I did, and go try it for yourself. So this is not it. Okay, so if you want to get quick rich, you need to just, don't even watch this video, because this is not what I'm going to show you. I'm also going to show you now, you're not going to hustle 24/7. For me, it's not working harder. It's working smarter. Okay. I'm all about well-being. I'm all about balance. I'm all about using your feminine and masculine energy in all business types. So this is what I'm going to teach you. And also, like I said, it's not going to be a one-size-fits-all approach, and ignore your gifts. So I'm going to show you currently what you're really good at. Let's see if we can build a business out of that. Okay, so what this is actually to help you to create a sustainable business that honors both your ambition and your well-being. It is to help you build a career in leveraging your corporate expertise while you're developing your entrepreneurial skills, and it's designing a transition that feels both brave and wise, not just quitting and throwing your hands up in the air and say, okay, now I'm going to be an entrepreneur. It's creating I call it my bridge strategy of how you're going to go from being corporate to entrepreneur. That is brave, but it's also wise. They're going to take calculated risks, not just risks. That's very important. And then also, joining a community of like-minded women who's also taking the brave leap. You're going to become part of this community and, learn from other people. And that's what's important, but we'll get to that. Okay, so let's start with the 5 mindsets that you need to become an entrepreneur. So the first mindset is that you need to come from security mindset to opportunity creator. Because now, currently in your employment that you incorporate, you have the mindset of, I get a fixed salary. I've got a clear job description. I know exactly what is required for me. And if I'm now an admin assistant, then I can maybe become a manager, and then I can perhaps become a team lead, and there's a career path for you. So that gives you a sense of security, that you've got an income, you know exactly what you need to do to generate this income, and that it can be a future in certain businesses. Not all of them, but there is certain businesses you can grow. So the thing with entrepreneur, it's definitely different. You need to understand that working for yourself, there is not going to be a sustainable or a set type of income that you're going to get every month. So even if you sell a product, even if you give a service, your income is going to depend on your product, on your value, and how many clients you can sell to or then serve with your service. So there's not a guarantee. And that is where a lot of women, get stuck in fear, is because they are so used to getting a certain amount of income, and then they, create their lifestyle around the income. So if you want to be an entrepreneur, you're going to have to leave that mindset and understand that, yes, you're going to have some abundant months. We're going to talk about the seasons of entrepreneurship, but also there is going to be some winter months. And then you need the resilience to push through those winter months. Because I do find working with women, that is the time they give up. And when it's hard, when you don't see the clients, or you don't see the money coming into the bank, and you don't know how to push through, because that's a mindset. And like I said, I've been doing it for 5 years, and I promise you, it wasn't just smooth sailing from the start. I have made money. I have lost money. I had winter months. I had to borrow money, whatever. And then other months are just so abundant. I can pay everybody back, clear my debts, and then we go on. But this is the mindset of entrepreneur. So even there, when it is winter, I don't live in fear. I don't get scared. I know that this is just a law of rhythm, and soon it's going to go up again. Okay. So for entrepreneurship, you need to see possibilities, and you have to build your own path. There's no career, you need to build your own path and say, what's going to be next? What is my next expansion? What is my next product? Whatever it is. Nobody's going to come and tell you what to do. You need to figure it out for yourself. The next mindset that you need to have is to go from permission seeker to decision maker. Okay. So currently in your corporate business, in your corporate company, you always have to seek approval. If you are an admin, you have a manager on top of you. If you're a manager, you've got to or team lead, and team lead has got the CEO and whatever it is. So you always have to go and ask him, can I do this? This is my idea. You always have to wait and for the green light to do things. And you always have to follow protocols. But being an entrepreneur, you don't have those things. There's nobody going to be above you who you first need to go and ask permission. You are going to have to make the confident decisions in your own business. You're going to have to trust your gut. You're going to have to do your own research and then make that informative decisions. What's going to grow my business? It's taking those calculated risks. And that is what most women are so afraid of, because they don't trust themselves. And that's one thing I need to teach you in my big Brave Leap course, is how to start trusting yourself, how to make these informative decisions and take these calculated risks. And you're going to have to learn how to move without the outside validation. Nobody's going to be there to clap for you, to motivate, or to move you on. You have to get the validation from yourself and saying, I am doing a great job. And I'm not going to look for opinions or go ask everybody around me what they think I should do in my own business. That is one of the biggest mistakes a lot of entrepreneurs make in the beginning. They are so scared of making their own decisions that they go ask everybody, and everybody's got an opinion and their own mindset and their own perspective about what you're doing. And then you are so overwhelmed with all these different opinions that you actually get stuck and you procrastinate of making a decision because you don't trust yourself. So these are the type of things that I'm going to help you with to get it over with. Okay, moving on. The first mindset is going from a time trader to a value creator. Okay, so currently you are selling your time. If you get a fixed salary, I need to work this amount of time, this amount of hours, and then working this amount of hours, then I get paid this amount of money. So with entrepreneur, you need to understand that that working the amount of hours is not going to correlate to a certain amount of money coming in. You are going to get paid for your value, regardless of the time you're going to invest in yourself. In the beginning, I worked at least between 9 to 12 hours a day when I just had to launch my course, get the website going, do all of these things, start my pages on all those things. It took a lot of my time. So with anything in life, if you really want something sustainable, you have to invest time, money, and energy into something. It's like having a child. In the beginning, it's you have less sleep. Babies are expensive with all the nappies and formula and car seats and all of these things. But later on it becomes easier because you invested the time, you build a foundation, and then later it does become easier. Don't think cheaper with children, but it becomes easier. Okay, so this is the mindset you need to understand, that no matter how hard you work, if you're not going to give good value to your client or a good product, you're going to let you waste your time and you're not going to be compensated correctly if your product is not good enough. Okay, so these are the things I'm going to teach you, how to actually get a correct product, get the value up so you can get compensated for this good service or product that you're going to offer. So the next mindset is going from perfectionist to experimentalist. Okay, so yes, in corporate, we all have performance appraisals, and they are actually rewarding you to be perfect. They're rewarding you to stick to the plan, follow the protocols. This is what we expect from you, and if you do it, it's your little gold star. Okay. So with entrepreneurship, I promise you, there's nobody's going to give you a gold star who's going to evaluate if you're doing a good job or not. Okay. You are going to have to embrace the experiment. Okay. You are going to have to experiment with social media pages. Does this messaging work? Oh no, this didn't work. This product that I'm offering, is it actually something that there's some demand for it or not? You're going to have to embrace that sometimes things are going to work and sometimes it's going to suck. You might have this great idea, you implement it, and then, ooh, crickets. Yeah, we hate those crickets, believe me. But yeah, so you need to learn how to test quickly to see if your product is working, your service is good, and then learn from the results. So like I said, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But it's not for you to stop. It's then to say, okay, what didn't work? What can I do differently now that's going to change the situation? And then going from there. Good. So then the next one is going from a lone achiever to a community builder. So currently in the corporate environment, you're always, working in a sense, we all sometimes have to teams, but you're always in more individual. And there's always some sort of competition. If it's sales reps, we want to be the best sales rep. If you are brand managers, you want to launch the best products and get the most advertising, return on investment, and whatever it is. So with entrepreneurship, there's not going to be something like that. Okay. Entrepreneurship, the only way you're going to survive, listen to me carefully, is by building connections. You can't do this on your own. You're going to try, but you're going to see, you're going to go quickly into burnout, and it's going to be crickets out there once again. So the only way I built what I have today, the successful coaching business, is because I built connections. I put myself out there. Luckily for me, because my last job was sales, it wasn't so scary for me to actually walk up to a person, start a conversation, and build connections. Okay. I also learned how to collaborate. I collaborate with other coaches. We on each other's podcasts, we on each other's YouTube videos. We do days together, if it's wellness days or whatever. So I learned how to collaborate because that expands your network. So this is the thing you need to learn, is to how to network and how to be okay to be seen and try different things. And you need to create a community. Because like I said, doing things on your own is isolating and you're going to burn out. So by having other people and people, the same type of business that you can learn from each other. There's no competition. Because beginning my mindset also when I became a coach, everybody told me there are so many life coaches. Why do you think you are going to be successful? And if I kept that belief, I would have maybe had my business 1 or 2 years. But luckily my belief was then is like, although there's a lot of coaches, even in my little, section of Centurion in South Africa, even there was already 7 life coaches. But even despite that, look at my mindset, despite being other coaches, I'm also going to be successful. So this is a type of mindset that you don't look at your competition, because there's actually no competition. The right people will resonate with you. Not all people looking for life coaches are going to resonate with my energy. But there's are people who's going to say, yes, I want to work with Debbie. I love her energy. I love what she's saying. I'm going to work with Debbie. So the same with other coaches. Okay, so you're going to have to change your mindset about a lot of things going forward. Okay, so quickly let's do an exercise looking at all these 5 mindsets that I just explained. Going from security to opportunity, going from permission to decision. Rate yourself on a scale from 1 to 10 to see where you currently are. So 1 saying you are totally loving the security, you can't move away from security. Or 10 means, oh no, I'm okay. I know I'm going to be okay with the fluctuating income. I'm good with that. So for each one, really look for me now and rate yourself on these 5. Where you currently at. So you're 1 or 10 or 3 or 7, where you currently at. Okay. And then when you look at your, excuse me, when you look at your lower scores, it doesn't mean that you're not going to make it. Okay. It just actually identifies the areas that you're going to have more growth, have a better mindset shift. Okay. So for me, it was definitely security, because back then when I did leave, I was single. I was a single income. And security was a main thing, I think, and for most of us. So that's why I didn't quit in 2019 already, because I was still holding on to that secure salary that I was getting. So I can provide for myself and my family. So then, back then, 2019, I was at least a 3, when it came to security, opportunity seeker. But when 2020 come, like I said, I literally didn't have a choice in a sense. And then I quickly had to learn how to become an opportunity creator. Okay. So let's quickly look at the 3 biggest mistakes corporate women make, and then how to overcome those mistakes and how to avoid them. So the first one is doing the all or nothing leap. That's when women just resign and they have no backup plan. Okay. This is what I did. Don't do it. Okay. I had many sleepless nights. I doubted myself. I lived in fear. It was not great. Okay. So don't quit completely without having a foundation. Okay. don't burn your bridges. Because I promise you, a lot of people in your current corporate environment can be your next client because they already know you, they already trust you. So never, never burn your bridges when you leave. Okay. And remember, if you're going to do it all or nothing, it's going to create financial pressure. Okay, so very important. So what you actually should do, I call it my bridge strategy. So here are 4 options you can look at when you now decide to take the brave leap. The first one is to reduce to part-time or consulting. So if you are lucky and you have a type of business, a corporate business where you can actually say, you know what, guys, I really just want to work part-time for you. See if that's an option. Or say, I want to become a consultant for you guys. I'm not going to be fully employed, so I have flexible time, but I'm still getting some income. I'm still doing what I'm good at, and you don't lose a good employee. But let's see if we can compromise on both sides so I can start my business. Okay, that's option 1. Option 2 is to negotiate a sabbatical or leave. You tell them, you know what, I really want to start my own business and I need about 3 months, to go in a sabbatical or 2 months, whatever it is, so I can get my business off the ground. And from there on, when my business is running, I can come back and I can, employ a manager or whatever it is, and the business can run itself. Okay. Yeah, I don't think corporate companies are so open to that suggestion, but like I said, some companies are. If you work for a smaller family type of business, they are much more open to negotiations. Okay, other option is building a business on the side. So yes, while you're full-time employed, to already start your business. Okay, yes, that comes with a lot of different, obstacles by itself. The time restraint, the money restraint, the energy restraint. So when you do this, you need just to want to make sure that you are committed, because it's not going to help if you start your business on the side and you only give like 1 or 2 hours a week towards your business. Then you're never, never going to leave corporate. Okay. The last one is to create a financial runway. So this is actually what I did. So I knew that if I'm going to resign, I can't go without a salary. So I actually used my pension money. Not a good idea. Don't recommend it at all. But use your pension money or whatever. If you have savings, if you have inheritance money or whatever, then use that to create at least a 6 to 8 months pathway, financial pathway, so you can then resign. Okay. The next one is the next mistake a lot of women make is the passion only business. Okay. So this means they solely build a business around their personal interest. Okay. They ignore the market demand and they overlook sustainable business models. Okay. So this is somebody, let's say you love knitting. And then all of a sudden you say, I love knitting and I'm going to make a business out of knitting scarves for all the people out there. Okay. So first of all, you don't actually check if there's actually demand of people needing scarves, knitted scarves. Okay, yes, there will always be scarves, but yeah, not a lot of people like the knitted feeling of the material on the wool on their neck. So first of all, if you don't look if there's demand, and then all of a sudden you knit like 100 scarves and it doesn't sell, you waste your time, money, and energy. Okay. So you have to also look at if whatever you're going to sell, if there's actually a demand in the market. So yes, it's like I said, you want to do something that you're really passionate about, but you're also going to have to be realistic. If I'm passionate about scrapbooking, by all means, you can build a business if you do the supplies and whatever it is. But just, making little cards and think you're going to sell millions of cards, that's not going to be sustainable. Okay, so that's why I say you also have to look for something sustainable, something that's going to last. Because, like say, scarves, only people maybe in the middle of winter they start buying scarves. So what are you going to do for the rest of the year? So it's not sustainable. Okay, so you have to look at something that you're really interested in, but there must be a demand for it, and you have to see if it's going to be sustainable. Okay, so what I suggest you do to avoid this is using the aligned business framework. Okay, but we're going to get in this. So look at something that you really enjoy doing. So it mustn't be another job, another thing. It's like you're telling me, I have to start a career in, I don't know, becoming a chef. Yeah. I don't mind cooking, by all means I can cook. My mother taught me from the age of 12. By all means I can cook a meal. I can even do some gourmet food, but it's not my passion. It's really not my passion. I eat to survive in a sense, but I love good food. So that's why I say, if you say I have to become a chef for the rest of my life, I will definitely not do it, because it's not something that I enjoy. Okay, look if there's a market demand, so the scarves, once again, if there's no demand in the market for knitted scarves or knitted toilet heat covers, it's not going to be sustainable. And also look at your unique advantage. What do you bring? Because remember, most of you are going to do a business or sell a service or whatever what somebody else is already doing. Unless it's something absolutely unique that nobody does or whatever, you are going to captivate that market. But most of us are going to do something that there's already, in a sense, another business doing it. But the thing is, you need to understand, what is your unique advantage? What is your unique approach bringing into it? What can you do differently that's going to create? In sales, we call it, or for marketing, we call it USP. What is your unique selling point? Okay. And then definitely, guys, look at if this business is going to support your lifestyle. If you know that let's say you've got, monthly expenses of, let's say, 30,000 Rand, you need to understand that you can't go sell, 2 Rand sweets on the street. It's not going to be sustainable. It's not going to generate enough money to cover your monthly responsibilities. Okay, so you need to understand, look at a business that's going to cover and support your current lifestyle, or the one that you would like to have. Okay, so thinking future as well. If you want to become a millionaire in, let's say, 2 years, you need to understand that you need to sell a product that the value is good enough that you can at least make about, 50 to 100,000 Rand per month profit. So you can still cover your debts. And then that accumulated over a year, you can become a millionaire. Do you understand that? So these 4 things are very important when you're considering what it is that you're going to sell or the service you are going to do. Okay. The last mistake that a lot of women make is the isolation trap. Okay, you try to figure it out all alone. Okay, so I see this a lot with upcoming coaches, but I also understand that there's not a lot of support. Everybody in his dog can let you become a coach, because there's so many programs out there. But and it's actually sad for me to see that, because you're going to work with a person and person's emotions and vulnerability, and if you're not equipped for that, if you don't have the background, the experience, you're actually doing damage to the whole coaching industry. But anyway, moving forward is, you don't have to try to figure it out alone, because that's why, if I had a business coach and somebody who could literally hold my hand in the beginning and told me all of these things, my business would have grown much faster than it took me to create this beautiful business now in 4 years. So that's the thing. Don't try to figure it out alone. Don't think you should spend hours researching and trying to figure it out, because there's a quicker way. But you need to be open to that, and you need to learn how to be vulnerable and saying, guys, I need help. You've already done it. Let me go speak to you because you've already done it. Okay. And don't try to reinvent the wheel. If you can see there's a sustainable business model that works for this type of business that you want to do, use it. Okay. Yes, we're going to use unique selling points, but if it's a sustainable business model that's already invented, don't try to reinvent the wheel. Okay. So what you actually should do to avoid this mistake is to actually align yourself with mentors who's already walked this path. That's what I did. So just when I started, about 6 months in, I understood it, like, oh, I'm not getting anywhere. I don't know how to start. I was literally scared. I remember my first session with the first client, and I had to do the NLP. And I thought, oh, what if I stuff up this poor woman's brain? That was my thoughts. So, overcoming that fear, I actually invested in a business coach who also took the same course as I did. And I spent time with her, and I asked her all the questions. How did you start? How did you overcome this objection? How did you do this? So just in that, we worked about 6 weeks together. My business grew immediately, because she could already give me the answer. She already tried and tested things that worked, and she said, just implement it. You see. Work with peers facing the similar challenges. So that's why communities are so important. You're going to have to sign up for different networks. I've got, I'm part of the BNI, the business networking, because that's how I build connections. Look for experts in specific areas. Get personal support. I think the worst thing is if you start building a business and your family doesn't support you. Get everybody on board. And like I said, get to communities where you feel a sense of belonging. There's a lot of entrepreneurs, women's days. There's a lot of, like I said, networking business people out there. Join them. You don't have to do it alone. You can speak to them and say, how did you overcome this objection when you tried to sell your biscuits? And she said, oh, no, that was actually easy, blah, 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 blah. Oh, great. I don't have to go and trial error myself. I can use somebody else's expertise. Do that. Okay, let's move on. So now the question, once again, look at yourself, look at your own plan. What is going to be your mistake prevention plan? So looking at those 3 mistakes, what are you going to do? What is going to be your bridging strategy? How are you going to bridge going from corporate into entrepreneurship? What is your market validation approach going to be? Looking at all those 4 things, what is your product going to be about? And then what is the support that you are going to implement in your business, in your own life, to actually have a community to have that support? So think about it. What is it, the idea that comes up to avoid these mistakes in your own life? Good, moving on. So now I'm going to show you my 4-step framework to actually creating your freedom-based business. Okay, so first of all is rewiring identity. Get clarification on your vision and values. Identify your unique advantages and design your offer. So let's go one by one. So rewire your identity. Guys, this is so important. Okay. You can't have a corporate identity trying to be an entrepreneur. You are going to fail. You are going to burn out. You are going to be overwhelmed. You are going to live in fear. Okay. And, I'm a mindset coach first, most of all. And like I said, believe me, if you're going to live in fear, you are going to create more of that in your reality, because your brain needs to be right. So whatever you say, oh, my business is failing. Oh, my business is, people don't want my service. That's going to be your reality. Okay. So like I said, I am a mindset coach. I've been one for 4 years. And I've made a lot of mistakes in my own life with my own mindset as well. And that's why I know I'm an expert when it comes to mindset. And now not to create the same patterns, how to get out of your old habits and how to get off your own way. Okay. So these are the amazing things that I'm going to teach you inside my Brave Leap. All about mindset, that you don't create a reality that you hate and dislike. And you say, oh, I made a big mistake. I should just rather go back to corporate. Okay. It all starts here. Business starts here. Okay. So what I'm going to teach you is how to identify and rewrite your current limiting beliefs. So if you believe that I'm not good enough, or my business is going to fail, or, all the what ifs, if you're not going to reframe them and change them, you are going to be stuck. I'm going to tell you now. There's no 2 ways about it. Then rather just stay in corporate if you're not willing to do the inner work first. Okay. You need to understand what is fear and how to reframe fear, because that is going to be the strongest emotion in all of you starting your business is fear. Fear of failure, fear of not being good enough, fear of judgment, Everybody told you shouldn't do this, what are you thinking? Okay. So all of those fears are going to come up. I promise you. They were there for me as well until many years into the business. But until I got hold of my fear and said, I don't need to fear. It's probably never going to happen. This overthinking mind of mine, all the worst case scenarios what the brain does. I told myself, why worry? Why fear? Because it's probably not even going to happen. And when I actually had that new belief, it's like, things just changed for me. And this is what I want to teach you. Okay. I also need to teach you to go from a scarcity mindset to a growth mindset. You can't have a scarcity mindset in a business. Guys, scarcity mindset is, oh, there's not enough money. There's not enough clients. There are too many coaches out there, or there are too many florists out there. I can't start another florist business. There's too many of this. Scarcity mindset. There's never enough. That's a scarcity mindset. If you're going to have that, guys, I give you a maximum a year. You're going to fail. Okay. You need to have a growth mindset. The little word comes in despite of. Despite of many florists around me, I'm also going to start one because I'm going to be unique. Despite of my bank account showing less zeros that I want to, I know my business is successful. It's a growth mindset. There's always enough clients. There's always people willing to pay for your value. Like I said, I am definitely not the cheapest coach out there. I know this. In the beginning, I was. It took me literally 2 years to move up my price if it wasn't for my business coach who made me see the value. I was a limiting belief that was holding me back. And now, yes, you are going to pay for the value that I can give you if you work one-on-one with me because of my experience and of all the different courses that I keep on investing in so I can be a better, but I can also give a better service to my clients. Okay, so it's all about I have a growth mindset. And then upgrading your identity to live as the future CEO. Okay, you can't be, I'm still a corporate little admin assistant and trying to have a business as a CEO. A CEO don't worry about the nitty-gritty things happening at the bottom. A CEO is the vision, is the freaking Hulk, flying above and looking down to see where we're going to go. And that is a CEO mindset, having vision, having creative, inputs and allowing other creative people and, working with peers and mentors. That's a CEO mindset, not I always call the chicken mindset. I'm just worrying about day-to-day tasks. You can't just worry about day-to-day tasks and never think about the future. Then you're not a CEO. Okay. Next one is clarifying your vision and your values. This is very, very important. Okay. So you need to understand what is success for you. Because if you're going to keep on comparing yourself to other people out there, you are going to fail. Okay. You need to clarify what does success mean for me now. Okay. And it's not, believe me, it's not just about monetary value. Success for me currently is that I have an inflow of clients all the time. If you look at my calendar, there's always bookings in my calendar. That is for me success. I don't see success as a monetary value that I am making X amount of money a month, that I live in this house and I've got this big car and whatever. My success is for me is giving the best service to my clients and getting those reviews where people say, wow, working with Debbie really changed my life. Guys, there's not a better feeling in the world for me out there. If I can put my head at night on my pillow and think, I had a freaking successful day. I changed somebody's life. That's the best feeling, and that for me is success. Making a difference in somebody else's life. So you're going to have to redefine what success means for you. Okay. And the next thing, you need to clarify what is your lifestyle requirements. Like I said, if you know that you have 30K worth of monthly responsibilities, you can't start a business that's only going to generate 10K. Okay, so you need to understand whatever business I am, the business, the service, the product, whatever it is, that at least it needs to cover my monthly expenses and then generate more profit for the growth. Because why are you doing this business? Not just to survive, it's to grow, is to have a life of freedom. Okay, so not just freedom in time, because this is the part I love the best. Guys, I'm never stuck in traffic. Just sometimes when I do go to the office, the only traffic I get is chickens walking over the little street there. That's it. Where I used to drive an hour to work and an hour back every night, getting stuck in traffic. There was an accident on the highway. That was not freedom. Okay, so now I have freedom. So also the desired impact. What is it that you want to create in this world? What is the impact that you want to create? I always say if you don't have a business that doesn't create impact, that's a soulless business. Yes, you can make money of it, but I don't know if it's going to be sustainable for your soul. So see what type of impact you can make in the world. If it's purifying water, you're making an impact so people are less sick. The kids are less having diarrhea, whatever it is. If it is selling flowers, you're making this most beautiful arrangement for somebody's wedding or somebody's funeral, but you're making an impact. They appreciate the flowers. If it is selling clothes, whatever it is, just think about the desired impact you want to make in people's life. Because I say it's more about the why you're doing it. It's not all about money, guys. If you're just in the business for money, then please go sell your online templates and stuff like that, because that's a soulless business. And I want to work with women who's really got soul and who's doing something that I love and making an impact, because that's what the world needs. It's not just another product. It's making a difference. So if you're one of those people, then you need to work with me. Okay. What is your non-negotiable values? Very, very important. So my non-negotiable values is my time. Okay, freaking don't waste my time. If you don't show up for a session, you are going to pay for that session. You wasted my time. And also another one of mine is my boundaries when it comes to time. Don't phone me after 6. Don't send me a message after 6. It's my family time. And never in front before 8 o'clock in the morning. That is my personal time. That is my morning routine. That is when I do my meditation, reading, all my little morning routine. And I don't want to be disturbed. That's a non-negotiable. And also one, I will not work later than 6 p.m. at night. It's a non-negotiable. Okay. And preferably, I never work Sundays. There's just no ways. But here and there, I prefer not to work on Saturdays. But if I really need to accommodate somebody and I can see that there's really no other time for them to come and see me, then I will work Saturday mornings. But that's far and few. That's my non-negotiable. So really think about what will be your non-negotiables. Okay. And then your leadership identity. Who do you want to be? How do you want to show up? If you're going to have employees, are you going to be a leader or are you going to be a manager? You guys know in corporate, what's the difference? The people that you love following and the people that you actually despise. Okay, so all of these things you need to have clarity around. The next thing is identifying your unique formula, unique advantage. Okay, so currently where you are getting paid for a certain expertise that you're giving to this company. If it's organization, if it's admin skills, if it's selling skills, if it's marketing skills, whatever it is. So you're currently giving some sort of skills and you're getting paid for it. So now look at that and see if you can transfer this into your own business, because you're really good at it. You're really getting paid for it. So perhaps see where you can transfer these skills and starting a business. It doesn't have to be the exact same thing, because I don't think a lot of you like the thing that you do. And if you do, you are fortunate. But like I said, for me, I was then in sales in a manufacturing business. And I said, I want to move out of that because of the pressure. We had such crazy deadlines and clients can be so ungrateful. And I just said, I never want to do that again. But I use my selling skills today in my business. I use my graphic designing skills. I use my marketing skills. I use my people skills. Look, I'm a life coach. All of those skills came because I transferred it into a business that I'm using my skills that I'm really was good at. Okay. Also look, thinking about your product or your service is, what is their personal experience and journey? Things that you've overcome. If you perhaps had an extreme colic baby, that is something that you overcome and you know how to overcome it. That can be a business. If you had a personal experience of going through 3 divorces, hopefully not, but yeah, that's your personal journey and you can literally become a relationship coach or a divorce recovery coach or whatever it is because of your personal experience. So really go look back and see things that you've overcome, good things or bad things, and then see where you can position yourself as an expert in that field because of the experience. So that's why, I am a successful life coach, because I've got so much experience. When you do work one-on-one with me, and I do have a few clients here on today that already work with me one-on-one, you guys know my story. And believe me, it wasn't all rainbows and unicorns with my childhood. I had an extremely challenging childhood. And then, I don't even want to talk about it, but challenging relationships. So that all gave me the life experience. I know loss. I got retrenched for a year. I lost everything. I didn't have a job. I had to move back to my mom. Very humbling. But that makes me relatable. So I use all of that. I don't like to label things, but let's label it for quickly. Bad things happening to me to my advantage today, so I can resonate with people and say, yes, I understand you. I've been there. I wasn't born with a golden spoon. Not at all. But it made me who I am today. So I'm I'm glad it happened to me in that sense. Okay. Look at your natural strengths and work style. So what are you naturally good at? Okay. What is your working style? So for me, my working style is definitely much more a morning person than a night owl. So in the morning, I will do all my admin, I will book my appointments, I do all the stuff in the mornings, and then later on when my energy is a little bit less, that's when I do my coaching calls. Okay, so that's my work style. I'm all in it. And like I said, uh, Monday to Thursday, I can work very hard, but Friday is a much more relaxed day for me. That's my working style. So I only book like 1 or 2 sessions in the mornings, and the rest of the day I'm off. That's my working style. Okay. And working style also, are you very organized? Are you much more relaxed? Think about those things. So if I was an organized, very much organized person, I will do accounting and stuff like that. But luckily my business, I can have a much more relaxed approach. Yeah. When thinking about a business, you're not sure what it is that you want to do, is think about the things that people normally thank you for. Thank you for listening. Yes, you're such a great listener. Thank you. You make the best freaking brownies ever. Thank you for always organizing my diary so, perfectly. Think about the things that people normally thank you for, because that can become a business. Things that you're really good at, but you don't even realize it. And like I said, think that you're naturally good is look at things that you're naturally good at that others find hard to do. So for me, it will be, accounting. I can never be an accountant because first of all, I can't do the same thing over and over and over again. I am way too creative. I'm a creative being. So for me, anything with numbers, figures, those things, hell no, that's not for me. So for other people, they love it. I've got so many accountants that I coach one-on-one. And you can see some of them just absolutely love it, and they love the structure of it and the formulas and whatever. So if you're naturally good at it, that's going to be your business. I suck at it. So I know I will never do that. Because that will be something that I hate, and I don't want to hate my career. Okay. So really think, if you're naturally good at organizing parties, are you naturally good at, serving tea at the church? And everybody always thank you for all your amazing little flower arrangement or whatever. Maybe you can become an event coordinator. To really think about these things. And then the last one is designing your soul-led offer. So for me, it's all about, your soul must be behind it. There must be passion. You need to love it, what it is. So we're going to go in depth about this. So, but just, look at your promise, look at your unique methodology, look at your ideal client, and then looking at your pricing. So let's get into it. Okay. Like I said, this is the soul-led formula. The fourth formula is, so it's your promise, your methodology, your client, and your pricing. Okay. So first, before we get into this is a 3 common mistakes that a lot of women make. Okay, so when thinking about an offer or a service, I call it a kitchen sink offer, is when you want to help everybody with everything. You want to be everything for everybody. Guys, you can't. You literally can't. You are going to be so, in an already saturated market, you're not going to be seen. Okay, even for me in the beginning when I just did life coaching, yeah, there wasn't a lot of, knocks on my door to say, yes, I also want life coaching, because there were so many life coaches in my area. But when I started saying I'm doing teenage coaching, ooh, all of a sudden, a lot of appointment, because it's so niche down and so focused. I'm focusing on teenagers because everybody's got them. So then with that, my business grew, my website grew, and then even with the life coaching, it grew. And then I did relationship coaching, because there's quite a need for relationships coaches out there. So do you see how I tapped into different niche down markets? And because I niche down, my core that I love the most is my transformational system for adults. It grew. Okay, so I didn't give everything for everybody. I said, I'm going to focus on teenagers. I don't do kids younger than 12, sorry, 14. So I get a lot of requests, but I then refer to my other coaches, because I'm not going to be everything for everybody. Okay. And I actually stopped doing relationship coaching at the moment, because I said, I'm focusing, but because I am now established, I can do that. But in the beginning, if I can give you advice, is look for something very unique, you're very niche down, so you can get your foot, you can get your name, you can build your brand. And then later on, you can really start doing more of the things that you wanted to do. Okay. So even now with this business coaching, you know, my main thing is still my transformational system where I just work mindset. But if I can grow myself, my name with this business module, of course, I'm going to get clients who say, Debs, I really want to spend more time with you building on my mindset. And then I can do that. So you understand where I'm coming from. Another big mistake is the copy and paste offer. You know, you just copy and paste and try to do exactly what your opposition is doing. It's not going to work. Okay. And then also the third mistake is underpricing offers. If you're not going to sell to the correct price, because you've got this limiting belief, oh no, I don't want to be expensive. People's not going to buy me, or people's not going to work with me, or whatever it is, then that's a limiting belief and you are not going to make money out there. Okay. So you have to learn how to charge correctly for the value. Okay, so let's quickly look at this. The first element is the transformation promise. What are you promising your client the transformation? So what it is that you're going to give the transformation to your client. Is it specific changes you're going to create? Is it going to be tangible or intangible shifts? And what's going to be the before and after states? Okay, so look at it. So what are you promising? If let's say you a health coach and you do weight loss and you say, the specific changes that I'm going to create is I'm going to help you lose 10 kgs in 4 months. Okay, so before you weigh 80 kgs, and then the after state, you're going to weigh 70 kgs after 4 months. So before and after state. Then tangible, intangible. Tangible sells much easier, I'm not going to lie. Then intangible shifts. So tangible is literally where you can see the result. So if you lose 10 kgs, yes, your clothes are going to look better, your face is going to be smaller, whatever it is. There's tangible things. If you're a business coach and you work with business people, the tangible thing is I'm going to 10x your business revenue, or I'm going to create more lasting staff if you want to start an HR business, or whatever it is. So it's more tangible. You can see the result. So intangible ones, that's exactly what I do. So there's no real result, physical result that you can physically see. Okay, so I promise a change in mind shift. Then like, what does that even mean? Okay, so there's your messaging need to be correct. But people worked with me, and you can go read my reviews, it's an internal shift that I start seeing world differently. They don't live in fear anymore. They wake up much more happier. Okay, so these are intangible things. But still, it's a promise that I'm making you and say, I'm going to help you to overcome your fear. I'm going to help you overcome your anxiety. Okay. So before and after state. So what is your promise? The next thing you need to look at is what's your unique methodology. Remember I said, what are you going to do uniquely that is yours? So like I said, a lot of you are going to sell products, do services that's already in the market. But what is going to make you special? What are the steps that you are going to create this promise that you say? Let's say if you say a health coach again and say, I'm going to help you lose 10 kgs in 4 weeks by focusing on your hormones, or by focusing only on your muffin top. Yes, women, we know muffin tops, yes. So what is your specific approach going to be? What is your distinctive process or framework? And there you can literally call it anything. Okay, so I call it my 4-step framework. This is my framework because it's 4 steps that I know that you should follow to create a business or to create your offer. We're talking about offer now. Okay. And then how am I going to incorporate my expertise? Because I've done this. I've been many years in marketing. I've been many years in sales. I've been many years in graphic designing. I've many years of building my own businesses. So I'm a freaking expert. I've done it for the last 5 years. And like I said, I don't need to go back to corporate to get a fixed salary. I am making more now than I used to make in corporate. Okay, so you understand that. So I am an expert in doing this. So I'm using all of that to create this Brave Leap offer. And the next one is looking at your ideal client. You need to know who your ideal client is. You're not going to be everything for everybody. So who's going to be your ideal client? So when I started, I said, I want teenagers. That's an ideal client. It's very niche down, and there's a lot of teenagers, and especially after COVID, there's a lot of social anxiety, there's a lot of depression, there's so many divorces where kids feel unsure about themselves and where they fit into life. That's where I came in. Okay. And same with relationships, very niche down. So who was my specific target market is people going through divorces or just challenges in their relationships or whatever it is. Okay. So look at their desires and their aspirations. So what you're going to offer, whatever, what is their desires or their aspirations? Let's say you want to open I don't know, a paddle shop. What are their desires and aspirations? So they want to be, start as a beginner, then work their way up in the middle, and then become a good paddle player. So you're going to have rackets or paddles, for all different levels. That's the desires. They want a good racket for a beginner. They want a good racket for medium. And when I'm like a Serena Williams, I want the best racket. I want comfortable clothing. That's a desire. That's ambition. Okay. So really see what it is that they really want and what their ambition is, and how you can create a product to give them that. What are their values and their beliefs? So what is their values and their beliefs? So if you once again a health coach and your client belief is that I don't need exercise to lose weight, and you are a fitness coach, then that's not going to be your ideal client. Okay. So you really need to think it's your ideal client. So you can't sell fitness to somebody who believes that you can lose weight without exercising. So you're rather going to go after clients who believe, that understand that a combination of eating healthy, getting enough sleep, drinking water, and moderate exercise, that's all the things that you need to start losing weight. So that's going to be your ideal client. Not somebody who says, I still want to be a couch potato, but I just want to lose weight and eat what I want. Not your ideal client. What is their transformation readiness? Very important. Stop wasting your time. Believe me, I've tried. This is where I went wrong, so I'm teaching you this. Stop wasting your time on people who's not ready to pay you, who's not ready to invest, who's not ready to transform. Okay, because a lot of people out there wants to work with a life coach. Believe me, I get millions of requests. But when I start asking them, are you willing to do the hard work? Are you willing to follow exactly what I said? Are you willing to get up early in the morning and do my morning routine? Yeah, I don't know, hey. And I don't know if these NLP things is going to work for my engineering mindset. Oh, no, I'm sorry. You're not my ideal client. So please go find somebody else. Okay. I've been too long on this market to know when somebody's going to waste my time, and I don't have time to waste, and definitely I'm not got money to waste. Okay. So look for clients who's ready to transform. Look at clients if they want to lose weight, who's already tried different things, who tried different diets, and keep on looking for information and keep on reading material because I want to transform. Now somebody saying, oh, it would be nice if I lose 10 kgs. Okay, not your ideal client. And also look at their investment willingness. If they're not willing to invest, they're not your ideal client. So like I said, in the beginning with my website, yeah, I had certain words on my website that I should never have had, but like I said, trial and error. So during the night, during mornings, whatever, I got so many calls and messages of people needing help because of certain words that I used. And then when I speak to somebody and say, this is my price, oh no, you're expensive. Oh no, I'm not going to work with you. I said, no, okay. I need to change my marketing, my messaging to get the correct clients and understand. If you're going to work with me, it is going to be a financial investment. But I promise you, the return on your mental investment is going to open doors, opportunities. You're going to have better relationships with people around you. And you're just going to be much, sorry, that's my dog. You heard that? My little one. You're going to have so much more opportunities around you. Okay, so look at your ideal client and look if they are willing to invest. Don't stop wasting your time on trying to get so many leads, but they are cold leads. They're not willing to transform. They're not willing to invest. That's not an ideal client. And the last thing is look at your value-based pricing. So this is important. So like I said, in my Brave Leap, guys, we're going to go in depth with all of these things. I'm not just touching lightly on things, but in my actual course, we're going to go deep into each of all of these sections. I'm going to help you to create this product. Okay. But you're looking at your value-based pricing. So look at the transformation value assessment. So if you give a small transformation, you can't charge a huge amount. But if your transformation is really huge, then of course you can charge a lot of money. Okay. So if I say, let me help you lose 1 kg in a month, yeah, I don't actually think you're going to get clients because it's something that somebody can do on their own. Okay. But if I say, I'm going to help you lose 10 kgs in 4 months with my burn hormones, eat less carrots, diet, whatever it is. And it sounds like, ooh, you know, I'm going to lose 10 kgs. I'm going to look good. So, and what you're going to give them, you're going to work with them, whatever it is. So the more value you give, the more you can charge. Okay. And that's why I'm saying, look at the tangible, intangible benefits. So if you're going to see the transformation more, and if you're going to work with them one-on-one, of course you can charge more. Okay, then in a group setting where you don't get the individual attention, so you're going to charge a little bit less because you're not giving one-on-one your time. So you can get more clients, but you need to charge less because you're not giving that individual attention to them. Okay, and also look at the competitive alternatives. So what are other people charging for the same service? So you don't want to price yourself out of the market. That's also being, not realistic. But don't undercharge yourself. And don't have this belief, I just started, I need to charge literally 10th of the actual going price. Don't ever do that. Because then people's going to have to believe, oh, there must be something wrong with your product, or why are you so cheap? I don't want to work with you. Psychology. Okay. And then also, what is your unique value additions? What are you giving extra? Once again, if you're this fitness coach, I'm going to work with you twice a week over Zoom or in person or whatever it is. Well, the more one-on-ones, you're going to pay more. And then also your client commitment factors. If clients are more committed, they pay more. Why do you think I charge a certain amount for my coaching? Because if I charge, let's say 300 Rand for my coaching program, do you really think people is going to show up and come drive all the way out to come sit on my couch for 300 bucks an hour? It's not. They say, oh no, what is 300 Rand? I can lose that. So they're not committed. But if I say I charge this X amount per hour, you better show up. And if I invested that, I will show up. That's exactly with me. So last year, I don't even want to tell you the amount of money I invested in courses. But because it was such a huge amount, I didn't miss a session. I didn't miss a call. I didn't miss a video. I showed up because the commitment, the amount that I paid made me so committed. So I'm going to get every cent out of this investment that I made. So keep those things in mind when you're thinking about your offer. Okay. So the last thing, this is the exercise. So think about what is the transformation you are going to give your client? What is the unique methodology or your way or your program that you're going to get them there? Who is your ideal client? And what is your pricing going to be about? Okay, so let's look at the bottom. I help what the person go from what problem to get this result by using this method. Okay, so I help women over 45, very specific. So it's only the second token. Women over 45 go from the embarrassing muffin top to flat stomach using my crunch and punch method. Okay, no, it's ridiculous, but anyway, but you understand what I'm trying to say. So use this formula to think, what is your promise, what is your methodology, your ideal client, and then your pricing. Okay, so what we've covered today is the 5 mindsets that you need to change, the 3 biggest mistakes to avoid, and then how to actually create now your framework. Okay, so now you ask yourself, this sounds freaking amazing, and I am ready to start my business. I might not still have total clarity on what it is that I'm going to offer. I might have a few ideas, but I'm not certain. Okay, so all of you say, yes, I want the freedom. I want to work for myself. I want to go on holiday. I don't want to put in leave. I don't want to be restricted to a certain cap of income that I can get. I want to create different, even, so different avenues of money coming in. That's what I do. I don't just do life coaching. I've got other businesses. And that's what I'm saying. I'm making more money now than I had a fixed salary at a corporate business. And that's the life I created. Okay. So now you're ready to take the thing, but you say, ooh, do I want to do this slowly, alone and confused? Or do I want structure, speed, and strategy? So this is a question you need to ask yourself. And if you say, yes, I want the second one, then I say, great, I can help you with my Brave Leap. Okay, this is exactly why I created the Brave Leap 12-week course. So it's a 12-week course. We're going to go through 3 phases and we're going to go in depth, guys. We're going to go in depth. Today, I just touched lightly on other things. But in this 12-week course, we're going to rewire your mindset, your limiting beliefs, your fears, how to build resilience during the winter months, how to see opportunities, how to trust yourself, how to build your intuition. Okay, how to create calm in your mind when it feels like the waves are very big. You're going to need all of those things. Okay. Then we do have 2 modules where we work intensely on your offer and your service. Okay, to see that there's a demand for it, what's your unique methodology, what is your ideal client, we work in depth to actually create this offer. Okay, and then we have a business side. Okay, so like I said, where I felt the other courses fell short, I'm giving it all to you. Okay, how to launch your product, how to market your product, what is your brand voice, what is your brand colors, your corporate identity, who you're going to, be, it's an identity that you're going to have to show up. I'm going to show all about marketing, your social media pages. You are going to have access to my marketing agency. I have a marketing agency. Like I said, I'm not willing to do things on my own. I get the experts to help me with a certain part of my business. So yes, I'll share your details. You're going to have access to them, ask him questions, ask him ideas. So I'm going to help you to do your social media pages, how to start a YouTube video, what do you need if you want to start a podcast, all of those information that you need, no matter what business it is. If you're going to use it or not, it's going to be in my vault. We are going to discuss it. We're going to go deep into sales because a lot of you fear sales. So I need to change your mindset. Sales is a service. I'm selling to you now. And do you feel dirty and like, ooh, no, ooh, Because if I'm not going to sell this to you, you're not going to have the help to start a business and create this freedom and this legacy for your family. So I'm doing you a service to tell you how I can help you. And I don't feel sleazy about it. I'm also doing a hard sale. No, I'm still giving you a choice. You can either do it by yourself, go get the more freebies and templates and whatever, or you can just work with me. Your choice. Okay, so this is what's all inside the Brave Leap. Okay, so the Brave Leap is a 12-week course. We're going to have weekly, so you are going to watch the video, so it's pre-recorded videos. I do that so you can actually, because if I just now of life, if you didn't write things down, you're going to forget about this. So why I do pre-recorded videos is that so you can first time listen to it and write everything down. The second time you listen to it, you are going to retain, and I want you to listen to a third time. Okay. I always say if you listen to things 3 times, you're always going to remember it. And that's why I'm giving you the time, space, or whenever you can do it, you listen to these things. Okay, so you can retain information. That's why I do pre-recorded. So you have the time to go back to it and go back to it and go back to it. Okay. But then we're going to have weekly group calls. So the group calls is going to be then where you can ask me questions, Q&As, whatever you need to know, I can do it in the group setting. Okay. You'll always have personalized support via email or WhatsApp. I'm always just within working hours, guys. Then I'll always support you on email, on WhatsApp, whatever is your need. And you are going to have access to my comprehensive and practical resources in my vault. Like I've said, I've done many courses, I bought many courses, many templates. All of those things are going to be in the vault and you're going to get for free. Okay. You're also going to have access to the Confident Alchemist community. That's a community that I started for business women. If you already started in your business or you're still in corporate, but it's to create a community for you with like-minded women. And you can ask questions. There's always going to be articles. We're going to have discussions. There's going to be some free trainings. So you're going to have access to that. And then, yeah, you're going to have lifetime access to recorded sessions and the vault. And like I said, I'm always updating the vault. So whatever it is, even 6 months later after the course, a year later, there's always going to be new resources that's going to be added to my vault. Okay. So this is what I give as the 12-week course. Okay. So this is where you need to start making the decision if you want to work with me. So just some client results. So Sarah, I helped her start a nougat business. It was just her passion. And she always said she always gets so much compliments about her nougat and how good it is and it's homemade. And yeah, I helped her literally start a business and I connected her So I always say it's who you know in life. It's not what you do, it's who you know. And I connected her with one of my other clients who is the CEO of a big corporate courier company. And now she's supplying in bulk to boutique stores, her nougat. Okay, look at her. And like I said, she literally, she was working in a corporate engineering firm. And now between this business and another business I helped her with, she is making more and she is now working for herself. Megan, oh, she didn't even know that she could make money from her holiday home because she always sat there and she said, oh, I wish I could make extra income and whatever it is. And as we discussed in many sessions, she mentioned her holiday home and I asked her about it and I said, well, let's turn this into a business. So I assisted her building a website, building sales funnels, getting an agent there at the, it's down there in Cape Town. And she literally quit her job within 9 months because of the revenue of that business. Okay. Michelle, she turned her supply chain knowledge. So she worked for a supply chain. She used to work, send out stuff, comes from Cape Town, send it out to other regions. She used that to turn to a profitable business of supplying niche wines to selected stores. So she used her expertise of knowing how to distribute. She got hold of some wine farms that she already was working with, and she started her own business supplying niche wines. So you see, there's a lot of businesses that you can do. So how you need to enroll is you can book a clarity call with me. So that means you go onto my website and you book a clarity call and we can discuss this. Or you can go onto my links. There is 2 links that you can follow for you to sign up. Like I said, this is for people who are ready to commit. Okay, not if you're still sitting on a fence, not if you're not ready. I only work with women who's ready to commit, who's ready to take that brave leap, and I'm going to help you. We're going to get clarity on what your product is. I'm going to help you launch it, but we're also going to change your mindset. Okay, so this is where I'm going to help you. So if this is right for you, like I said, you need to be ready to work with me. You need to make the investment. And if you are still sitting on the fence, if you're still thinking about it, you're not going to be a good fit for me and my program. I'm working with women who's committed, who shows up, who's got discipline, and who knows what they want in life. Those are the women that I'm going to help create sustainable, profitable businesses. It's going to create a life of freedom for themselves. Okay. For final thoughts, you need to decide where you want to be next year. Do you still want to be stuck in the next 6 months, 12 months in that same job? Using the same traffic, seeing the same people over? You need to decide if you still want to waste more time, money, and energy trying to figure it out alone. And you need to decide whether you want a freedom-based business or stay stuck in your 9 to 5. Okay. Without a decision, nothing changes. So decide now, and in time, you can enjoy a freedom-based life of doing something that you love. Okay. So if there's any questions, please email me, please send me a WhatsApp, or like I said, there's my email address, info@debbiehartmanofficial. And yeah, I just want to say special thank you for everybody who showed up in this masterclass. And the replay will be on YouTube. And yeah, so I don't know when you're going to watch this, but there was a early bird special. And there's going to be a little bit special for people signing up. And please follow me on social media and sign up for my Confident Alchemist community. So yeah, let's take this brave leap together and let's build a business of freedom. See you in the next one.